Greetings and welcome to my grassroots save with Sandbach Utd. I'm Dugout Man and I'd like to welcome you with the news that New Mills have achieved promotion. They won 2-0 in that extra game that they had, so they are now officially promoted. They can still finish first or second. It is dependent on what we do as to whether they finish first or second. We're on equal games now. They have, I think it's a 2-point advantage over us as we look at the league table. So they're on 85 points, we're on 83 points. If we were to win our first game today, we will be playing the second game without any risk of Camel Laird catching us. And certainly, even a draw would probably realistically see us promoted. But certainly we want to try and win that game. We've got Main Road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to that game, and hopefully when we get to it, it will be something that we can celebrate. So here we are on our match day with Main Road. We've had a team meeting, and I can tell you that in that team meeting everybody left with a red, so I didn't do a very good talk there. Our team for this match, we're going to put Deitch in goal. He deserves to play because he's had so many clean sheets this season. With Johnson on right back, Gill, Jenkinson and the left back, Elliott, Shuker, Dean Atkinson and Fuller across the midfield, with Knight and Smith of course up front. Now I will warn you that Knight is under a transfer bid, as is Bailey Crudo, who is not playing today due to injury. And also the left back, I think, is under a transfer bid as well. So we could end up losing some of these key players. So we really need to get the job done today, so that if we do lose them, then we're not left struggling for the final game. So I'm going to try and avoid the actual promotion talk and just say that we should be winning this game, simply because every other team talk that I've done that suggests we should get promoted today, we've really not gone very well. So hopefully it will not jutter like it did in the last one. As Smith comes through, he scores. I thought he might be offside, but it hasn't been given as offside. So Smith has given us a lead in the first minute of the game. So that's really great news. Let's just see. Oh no, he's definitely onside. He was clean through. Great composure. 24th goal of the season. And I mean, we're going to lose Knight, or possibly going to lose Knight, before the next game. So it's really important that we get this win, because this partnership that they have is going to be broken up if he does in fact go. So quite disappointingly, straight from a free kick, Richard Sampson has scored for Main Road, and that makes it 1-1. And it was very poorly defended. We haven't really got any of the defenders who we had earlier on in the season. Papril's gone, so it's a little bit disappointing that. But they're coming thick and fast, these highlights, as Knight breaks through. I thought that might be a farewell goal. If he does choose to go, there's no guarantees that he will go. A lot of the players have stayed when they've been under transfer bids. But we are looking at, as long as we're in this position where we can't offer contracts to players, we are going to be struggling to hold on to players. And it's just a shame that at the time when we need it most, a lot of them are having their heads turned by other contract offers. And it's definitely affected the form. The form has been a little bit less as Smith runs through and slots home beautifully. 2-1. And of course, if we win today, then it's done and dusted. We are promoted. We should really have... won't let me on the highlights, but it was a good goal by Smith. We should really have the live scores in view, really. But Camel Laird are the team that we've got to worry about. And they're currently 0-0, so that's good. Time in the first half is now ticking away. And Main Road are playing really well in the context of a down our end a lot. But Smith on the counter again for a hat-trick. That would have been his second successive hat-trick. It'd be really great if we could get that. So half time and it's 2-1. I'm going to go with the assistant's advice and say that they're playing excellent. I don't think we need to worry about that. One thing I would say is Jordan Elliott is booked and nervous. So we'll let Joe Delaco have a go with him, and I want to see what Lucky Lou's like on the left as well. So 2 substitutions at half time. Both wingers have been changed. We will probably save the final sub just in case somebody gets injured. Or somebody like Gill, for example, is looking really tired compared to the rest of the team. So maybe it's like 75th minute, we'll look at making a substitution. I'll drop down to defensive. We want to hang on to this lead. Quite happy with the lack of highlights. But another free kick could be our downfall. And Richard Sampson again has been allowed to get through on him. Now, I believe Camel Laird are still level, so it might not matter. But we've conceded 2 goals from free kicks, and that is really disappointing, and I'm not happy with that whatsoever. So, and with that goal, we've dropped down to 2nd position. We could have been back at the top. New Mills, again, of course, don't play. They're in a cup match today in the FA Vars. So, we would have gone top with a win. It doesn't look like we're going to get that win. In fact, quite worryingly, we could lose. And yes, they've scored, and this is an absolute disaster in the context of the game. But we're going to chuck the kitchen sink at it just in case. Oh, wait there, it's been disallowed. Panic over. But we're gone very attacking now. We're going to stay there. This could be the biggest mistake of my football managing career. As Gill heads it away, Delaco heads it straight back to their players, and I think they're more likely to score than we are. And again, Delaco loses out again. And what's happened here? Another free kick. And then again, I thought it was going to be a hat-trick of free kicks. So it's 2-2. And a disappointing result in the contest. But because I believe Camel Laird have drawn, we haven't got to worry too much about that result. So we're just waiting to find out now for definite. Get confirmation that we have been promoted. It was the goal of the season. It was sort of something that I tried to play down a little bit, the expectation, because of how low our expectation was. But yeah, so we're 6 points clear of Camel Laird. So they must have lost, did they? As we look at the games, where are they? Oh, have they not played yet? I thought I saw them playing, but obviously I didn't. I imagined it must have been Cheadle Town that I was reading. So we've effectively promoted anyway. Goal differences in our favour. New Mills have gone through to the final of Bill-based FA Vars, as have Barton Town, who knocked us out of the FA Vars against 2 Eastbourne teams. So they had 2 chances, Eastbourne, to be represented in the final, but neither of them will be there. New Mills and Barton Town in that final. So what I'll do, I'll play on to the final game of the season. It's not guaranteed that we will be up, but I'm fairly confident that we will. If Camel Laird play a game and it turns out that they fail to win and we get promoted anyway, I will pop back with the news that we are promoted. So welcome back. We have one final game to go. It's against St Martin's. We are virtually promoted, but we are not promoted yet. And I have to say, because of the comfortable win that Camel Laird got in their last match, and before we talk about that, we will mention that New Mills are the champions. They won their game in hand, so we cannot catch them now. It is official, so we won't be having a title-winning season in our first season as Sandbach United manager. But now there's only a 5-goal swing, so if we were to lose by 2 and Camel Laird were to win by 3 or vice versa, then we would not be promoted. So we've really got to keep this game tight and see it out to the end. There's been a couple of changes to the side, which I'll mention. I've decided to play Nash for this final game, a little bit of experience there. And Lucky Lou's having to go on the wing. We have got Prudo on the bench. He's not fit, so he's only going to come on for the last half hour if it looks like we're really struggling on the left-hand side. But otherwise than that, the team is the same. Oh, I can't remember whether Naylor was in or not last match. I think it was Naylor. What was it? It might have been Deitch, actually. But yeah, so here we go. We'll let the assistant do the talking. And I don't know, I'm feeling quite nervous about this because even though we've got it comfortably sewn up, we've not been able to complete the job for 3 games in a row now, so it is a little bit concerning. So Dean Atkinson picks up the ball. As you can see, we're back in 3D. Smith with the goal, and that is a perfect start. The absolute perfect start, because if we win, it doesn't matter what Camel Laird do. In fact, if we draw, it doesn't matter what Camel Laird do. So with Smith scoring that goal, that means that all that needs to happen now is for us not to concede 3 goals. Every goal we score means that we're just that little bit closer to safety. Another highlight, which Gill. So Camel Laird have got a lead as well, by the way. So Dan Smith nearly scores again there. And as soon as that highlight gets out of the way, I'm going to get rid of their scores so that we can see properly as Dan Smith runs through again and again. It's a fantastic save that prevents him from scoring. From the corner, Dean Atkinson with it, swings it in. Gill picks it up. He's on a yellow card already, which is a little bit disconcerting. I would hate for a red card to be the downfall for our season. As Dan Smith races through, on the wing, he pulls it across. Elliott can't get the shot away. Nash plays the ball forward. Elliott, if he could turn and score now, it would be really helpful. Grant, a poor piece of play by Grant, and all of a sudden, St. Martin's are looking likely that they can spring an attack against us. Nash plays it back to Naylor. I was a little bit worried that Naylor was going to let that go in then. But Lucky Lou breaking down the wing. A great tackle. Sends it out for a throw. And it's a little bit too exciting for me. I'm really nervous about Gill being on that yellow card. So we may be making an early sub. As Knight sends Dan away again. If Dan can get a goal, that just makes me feel a little bit better. The goal has gone in. Now, before we see the highlight, I'm going to put James Carter on just so that we're not going to find ourselves down to 10 men, because as things stand, we are going to be promoted to Tier 9 of the English Football League. And it was a lovely run and slot home from Dan Smith, who has just been scoring goals for fun. And I hope we can hang on to him for next season, because he's been a real fun player to have. I would have liked to have kept Caius Metz as well. But so we're swinging a corner again. Carter, Grant, Carter. He's a central defender playing on the wing at the moment by the looks of it. Lucky Lou. Dean Atkinson with a cross. Lucky Lou with the volley hits the bar, was it? So we've been all over St. Martin's at the moment. We've got nothing to worry about, and I'm going to passionately praise the players for what they've done. They all look complacent, but I think with the fact that we need to concede basically 4 goals, or Camel Laird need to score a lot of goals, we should be okay as it stands. And that is 3-0, possibly, yes. James Carter brought on for Luke Gill because of that yellow card, has scored as Jenkinson was the one who won the header and Carter was there to just slot home from 0 yards. 3-0, and that is that surely now. So Nash, long ball forward to Knight. Cook races through. Naylor makes a save. Carter hoofs it. Look at all them fans. It's amazing, isn't it? So I will go through sort of like our attendances this season, and then we can monitor next season how they improve because we're in a tier higher. But they've not been great. Let's just put it that way. We sold 10 season tickets. Oh, and the left back has had a bit of a calamity there and placed the ball into his own goal. It is 3-1. Maybe the game's not quite over yet. Oh dear. That was not good, and the keeper didn't really cover himself in glory either there. But yeah, so it's quite exciting. We're running down the clock. We've got 15 minutes left. There is a highlight. We'll let the highlight play, and then we'll maybe make a couple of changes. A couple of final appearances of the season. Carter with the header out. Grant was brilliant for the first part of the season that he was here, but he certainly has tailed off in his form towards the end, and I thought we conceded another own goal, and that would have really annoyed me. So the highlight's going to continue. We're going to make a sub or two. Sean Ray will come on for Lee Knight, and Lucky Lou will come off so that, or do we do? No, actually, I'm going to let Chris Shuker come on. Chris Shuker will come on for Jordan Elliott. The reason being that this is possibly his final appearance for us. You know, he's 38 years old, and we can't really guarantee that he will continue to play for another season. I hope, if he doesn't play, I hope he becomes a member of staff. But we're beginning to really struggle here. So we'll go defensive and try and hang on. But time is beginning to tick away. We're 3 minutes away from a glorious promotion. And there it is, full time. St Martin's 1, Sandbach United 3, and we are promoted regardless of what any of the other teams do. We are promoted. I'm very pleased with your performance. We're not dependent on Camel Laird. We are promoted. And so in our first season, it is success, and let's hope that we can actually rattle up some of these divisions very quickly so that we start getting into the realms of players who most of us will recognise and go from there. But what I'll do is I'll get it onto the league page. There's the final day results. New Mills won again to take their points tally to over 90. So, and Camel Laird won 1-0, but it didn't matter in the end because we have achieved promotion. And if you haven't guessed, I'm really ecstatic, really happy with that. And Sandbach celebrate final day promotion. Sandbach faithful are happy following the promotion, and they were overjoyed as Doug Outman and his players secure promotion from the Hallmark Security Northwest Division South. Sandbach have been promoted to the Northwest Premier League. So if we look at the teams who have come down, Barnoldswick, Whitchurch, Charnock, Richard and Litherland, so they will not be in there. And Northwich, who is a very local team to Sandbach, have been promoted, so we won't be playing against them next season. But there's a lot of teams in there that are fairly local to us. There's actually another Northwich team in there that we will be coming up against. So there's plenty of interesting games to come in that division. My target secretly is to be promoted again, but it's going to be a lot more difficult because there is only one team goes up. So that makes it a little bit harder when we come to next season. 4 go down, 1 go up. That is a little bit frightening, to be honest. But when we look at some of the teams in there, we played Earlham and Burscough in the cup. We may lose a lot of these players because teams are taking notice of them. But we are promoted, and there is a lot of green. We did sort of stutter to the end, and finally we got through. I didn't notice any stuttering in the match, actually, when we talk about stuttering, and I think that's because I reset my computer. But one thing I would say is, like your player ratings, Lee Knight didn't leave, but your player ratings adjust in the season. So does the quality of the computer's capability to hold the graphics. It's on a star basis. When I bought the computer, it was 5 stars when I set the game up. But as we've been playing it, it's come down to 1 star, which is a little bit disconcerting. But maybe it's just my computer filling up with its memory. So Sandbach are promoted. Sandbach's board have announced that they are extremely pleased with the promotion. Knight is happy because the promise was kept, and Smith was on form. Of course he was. He's been on form all season, and collective bonuses. If we look at the finances, we've just dropped into the red, which is a little bit disconcerting. But we've got plenty of friendlies to arrange now, and hopefully we'll be able to get some real money spinners. But the final thing that I wanted to go through was squad performances. So if we go to the selection info, we look at the playing time happiness. We've got quite a few concerned, which is a little bit of a worry. But we look at the goals, and Dan Smith finished top scorer. He only played 24 games in total for us, but he scored 27 goals and even managed an assist. Lee Knight was superb, 25 goals and 14 times he provided goals. That's an amazing performance for him. So we've really done well for those front two. And then Bailey Prudo with 7, 6 each for Sean Ray and Shuka. Again, players who very often were substitutes. And yeah, they've got 6 goals apiece. And then there's been others chipping in as well. So on the assist side of it, it's Lee Knight. And there is one other player who we want to pay tribute to. So we'll nip over to Shelbourne and just see how Caius Met's done for the season. So I'm not sure why we can't see all of that actually, but so if we click onto his history, career stats, so he scored 21 goals for Sandbach United. That is in the league. It doesn't count the cup goals as well. So he probably finished on about 26 goals, I think it is. So Dan Smith actually probably overtook him in that context. But he's then gone to a new club and scored 6 goals. So he'll be really happy with that in 6 appearances as well, apparently. So, 3 goals it is, sorry. I beg your pardon. It's very late at night. I've just recorded 3 videos on the spin to get this promotion season done. I now have 3 videos to edit. They're going to sort of like eke out onto YouTube. You guys won't need to know any of this because you'll already see it. But when we come back for the next season, we're going to be looking at what transfer business has been done. How many players we lose will depend on how many players I try and get, because it is, and also the finances. We need to get ourselves very secure in terms of the finances so that the board will start allowing us to pay players a little bit more in the wages, and that way we should start being able to build a really good side. But next year it's going to be a challenge. Only 1 spot to aim for. We will have to strengthen, but I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to do it initially. So I'll get all the pre-season stuff out of the way, and obviously getting these videos out onto YouTube, and then we'll see you for next season. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the content that I've given you this season. It's been a successful season. It's been an exciting season. We got promoted at the first attempt. And if you like what you've seen, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.